What is it with horror movies lately? I feel like we're living in a bit of a renaissance, and maybe it's a sign of the times, but the genre has been popping off. This week's movie review is The Monkey. Now, I'm no Stephen King expert, but I think this dude probably has the most film adaptations outside of probably Shakespeare. And in the 80s, you couldn't throw a stick without hitting something based on one of Stephen King's books. The Monkey is very much trying to evoke the spirit of 80s horror cinema and knows exactly who its audience is. And if you're the type of slasher fan who watches these films to see people get dispatched in absurd and hilarious ways, then The Monkey has your ticket. All right, so for those who are not familiar with the short story this is adapted from, the setup's pretty simple. There's a cursed wind-up monkey drummer, and if you turn the key, he beats the drum, and somebody gets taken out. The person who turns the key is safe, but anyone else, it's all bets are off, and the monkey does not take requests. You can't destroy it or bury it. The monkey seems to sort of latch onto a specific family, and they're like the bearers of the burden. We never find out where the monkey comes from, how it was made, why it exists, but that's not really what the movie's about. The monkey's really kind of a plot device. The story is about moving on, accepting death, and respecting its power. So we open on a manic pilot who's played by Severance's Adam Scott, and he's trying to sell the monkey to a pawn shop. This quickly ends with the shop owner getting harpooned and then having his innards yanked out of his body like a bunch of rope. It's freaking ridiculous. And this is just a small taste of the ludicrous ways that people were gonna meet their fate at the hands of the monkey's drum. So then we cut to our main characters, which are Adam's kids, they're twin brothers, and they find the monkey going through their dad's stuff. They're estranged from their father, they want to learn more about him, so they're digging through this closet. And of course, the kids being kids, they don't know anything about this monkey or how it works, and they start playing with it, but then they start to notice that their loved ones are dropping like flies. And throughout all this chaos and violence, we see that the film maintains a very humorous tone. Even the eulogies are played for laughs. There's this completely tone-deaf priest, he's giving these awful sermons, just babbling nonsense. It's pretty funny. When the twins grow up, they become estranged. So there's the meek brother, Hal, who has a son named Petey, and he only sees his son once a year because he doesn't want to burden him with the responsibility of the monkey. And then there's the other brother who's kind of the bully brother, and he's been missing. No one's talked to him in a while. He's estranged from his family. When the boys were kids, they hid the monkey in a well, but now people are dying in suspicious and accidental ways, which leads them to believe that the monkey's returned. I don't want to say too much more than that, because I don't want to spoil it for anyone who's interested in seeing the film. I will say, the monkey puts creative and explosive demises at the forefront, while the story work is almost behind the scenes, and that might be the weakest part of the film for me. There's a character named Ricky who is hired by Bill to track down the monkey, and Ricky's given little to no backstory outside of having an absentee father who is a police officer, and for some unknown reason he becomes fixated on the monkey, claiming it reminds him of his dad, and this felt like a rather weak way to help get Bill and Hal into the same room together. Ricky also just magically knows what hotel Hal and Petey are staying at and what room they're in, and I guess the implication here is the monkey orchestrated this, but that comes off as a bit lazy for me. I also was sort of 50-50 on the ending. There's a lot of setups that get payoffs, but the story of Hal and Petey doesn't really have a satisfying end, and maybe I expected something different because the 80s movies the monkey takes its cues from usually have a sappy ending. But those are minor complaints. It was a bit wild to me that the director of The Monkey did last year's dread-filled horror movie Longlegs. The tone and the style are so radically different, you'd be forgiven for thinking that they were done by completely different people. Osgood Perkins is pretty versatile, and he's a director I'm totally going to be keeping my eyes on in the future because I'm digging his work so far. Overall, if you're a fan of films that are more comedy than horror, like Evil Dead 2, The Monkey will probably scratch your itch for over-the-top violence. The story's nothing to write home about, but I don't think it hurts the overall enjoyment of the film. Just remember, do not call the monkey a toy.
It's a toy monkey? It's evil.
But that was just my opinion. Did you see The Monkey? If you did, let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll see y'all next week.